Hello, and welcome to our virtual broadcast of Game Changers Emergency Management Technologies and Trends, presented by our one and only Bernie Plow. Bernie is a research analyst and subcommittee coordinator for the EMI SIG. He is also a risk communication SME for the Department of Defense Nuclear Weapons School. Bernie has more than 30 years of experience in the emergency management field. Please join me in welcoming Bernie Plow to the virtual stage.
Good morning. I'm Bernie Plow, and I'm going to share with you this morning about some game-changing technologies in emergency management and the trends that are influencing them. I'm going to show you some videos. There's probably, maybe 6 or 7 videos in here that are kind of a depiction of what technologies are out there and are being used right now. I don't have any bent towards whose product it is. I simply wanted a representation so that you would see what's being used in the field right now. Some of these videos end pretty abruptly because I cut off all their marketing stuff at the end just because I'm not selling their products. So in the past decade, we've seen tremendous growth in these technologies and how they impact our lives. We have supercomputers using data processing and machine learning, smartphones and smart devices that connect us to each other and around the globe. We have autonomous vehicles that are being used for all sorts of tasks. And then we have artificial intelligence that we interact with on a daily basis. But in that same time span, that past decade, we've also seen major challenges and threats to our well-being and our way of life. We have increased severity and frequency of natural disasters. We have increased terrorist activities. We have increased dependence on technological infrastructure. And with all those things happening, it's put an increased demand on our emergency management systems and our first responders. So as we move ahead into the next decade, we need to remain vigilant for unforeseen situations, much like this pandemic that came really out of the blue to most folks. And we need to have the ability and the agility to deploy and utilize technologies that enhance emergency management and response. And keeping that in mind, I'm going to share with you a couple videos right now. The first one is on some disaster relief efforts that are being used right now globally. And then the second one looks at high-speed networks and how they impact public safety. So I'm going to roll the first one now. Second one looks at high-speed networks and how they affect public safety, and I'll roll that one for you now.
The 5G network will enhance public safety as emergency workers operate in a real-time environment. I'm Dana Farbo. I'm the co-founder of DMV AR Studios, which provides IoT and wearable device technology to various industries like public safety. With fast 5G network speeds and low latency, firefighters will be empowered with data from camera-equipped drones to help fight rapidly advancing fires. Suits that have many sensors will read vital signs and trigger alerts if respiration, heart rate, or other metrics advance to dangerous levels. Data will be available on weather, roadways, street lighting, from surveillance cameras, and even from smart materials in buildings. Back-end artificial intelligence systems and tools like machine learning and 3D mapping can aid emergency personnel in assessing risk and making decisions in the moment. Let's consider a 911 call. Police are responding. They might not know a lot of information that is happening on scene, and they're picking up information as they go along. Information from criminal databases, CAD drawings of building layouts, traffic, social media feeds, all of that info feeds into an analytics dashboard. More information will support better outcomes. What 5G enables is the ability to pull information that's at scene, as well as compile that with other information that's in headquarters, etc., to give those responding officers the best information possible. Training will also be greatly enhanced with 5G. Virtual reality and augmented reality will be more accessible. You won't need expensive, dedicated, high-speed lines anymore. 5G is going to make a huge contribution to public safety. We'll be able to respond faster and more efficiently. A new generation of tools and features is coming to help our highly trained public safety professionals become even bigger heroes.
You can see that's what I talked about, the abrupt ending on some of these videos. So where are we going with this? What are these tech trends showing us? Well, worldwide, the Homeland Security and emergency management market is supposed to jump significantly to about $850 billion worth of market growth by 2025. And that's due to countries that are spending more money on homeland security and research and development of new and existing technologies. What's driving these trends are what I talked about earlier in my opening slide: terrorist threats, pandemics and biohazards, natural disasters, cloud-based applications and computing technologies, high levels of security at our borders and airports and public institutions. And then the equipment manufacturers are all savvy to this, and they're out there producing security systems for armored vehicles, patrolling ships, and unmanned platforms that countries are buying to implement in their emergency management systems. So what are these game-changing technologies? Well, the top 6 that I found in the research that I did are consistent. We have drones, which is usually at the top of the list, or UAVs or UASs that we have, and they do everything from search and rescue to looking for red products and CBRN efforts. Next, we have artificial intelligence, which is doing a lot more in the medical community, but we interface with it with our Siris and our Alexa machines at home on a regular basis. After that, we have the Internet of Things and big data, which are pretty much interconnected. They work together. They gather a lot of information to provide folks with the information that they need to better respond and take care of incidents that happen. After that is robotics. And the robotics do everything from search and rescue to mundane tasks that we no longer want to do ourselves. And finally, we have the biggie one to me is mobile applications. Our little cell phones are so packed with data and information that can be used in emergency situations, not to just help us, but to help responders respond to us if they need it. It's an amazing little device that's jam-packed with information that's accessible and usable right now and is being used by many, many emergency management organizations across the country and around the world. So let's look at the impacts of these. What are the social impacts and what are the impacts on government? Well, from a social standpoint, what we have is that they're transforming many fields. They're able to spread information quickly. They're improving our understanding of the causes of disasters. They give us enhanced early warning systems. They assess damage in new ways. And they also help us understand why people react the way they do in emergency events. And the biggest deal to us is they aid and enhance our first responder capabilities. So I'm going to show you another video here that looks at how the interconnectivity between these technologies work hand in hand with our emergency response efforts.
5G is here, connecting and powering our world in unprecedented ways. Especially when human lives are at risk, or when traumatic situations arise. Next-generation emergency response vehicles use 5G and IoT. These connected vehicles enable uninterrupted and secure real-time data transfer and voice-to-video communication when doctors and EMTs only have minutes to stabilize and save a life. Real-time voice and video streaming allows surgeons to guide long-distance robotic surgery, eliminating communication delays that could endanger the patient. The future possibilities that will transform healthcare are many, but the impact of this technology will be felt across industries as massive IoT connects at least 1 million devices per square kilometer. Combining 5G and IoT can minimize the impact of unforeseen catastrophes harmful to smart cities. When natural disasters, cybercriminals, or blackouts attack mission-critical power systems, smart grids powered by 5G and sensors provide a resilient infrastructure that enables emergency responders to act fast to keep the public connected and safe. Cognizant's vast experience in digital enables carriers and industries to create new value with next-generation IoT solutions powered by 5G. Make the next move with Cognizant.
So that gives you a little more in-depth understanding of how high-speed networks can help and enhance public safety. I'm going to talk to you a little bit. So what are our government impacts on this? Well, the government is using these digital tools more often and more comprehensive ways. The digital technology is now expected to be embedded in every aspect of companies, governments, and society. It's an integral part of government working with the public. There are certain technologies that governments now use that make us less dependent on physical locations and more resilient to any future crisis. We saw that when the pandemic hit. We were able to take a world of employed people, move them out of their business environment, out into their homes, and still accomplish most of the business that we needed to get done. But in the federal government here, we saw that it was some bumps and some skids and some turns at first, trying to get people all access to the VPNs they needed and the information they needed. But right now, it's working pretty effectively and pretty efficiently. So that's building skills that the government can deploy not only in a crisis, but at all times. And that leads us to understand that we need to be better prepared and have better response solutions. We need to have clear centralized plans and response procedures, and so we can make complete situational awareness decisions as situations evolve. So I'm going to take you now and show you some videos of what these technologies look like in action. And the first one I'm going to show you is a mobile application that was developed by the firefighters in the United Kingdom and how they use it to effectively and efficiently respond to incidents.
Save Me Now is the new app for emergencies that uses your mobile's integrated technology. Designed by firefighters with the public in mind, it assists you before, during, and after an incident, all over Europe. Save Me Now has 5 distinct characteristics. It collects accurate real-time data, which is updated simultaneously by the user, fire brigade, and 999 emergency center. It allows for better planning and response thanks to information shared prior to or during an emergency. Save Me Now can connect to any 999 emergency center, automatically transmitting vital information. Thanks to mobile technology improvements, we can gather more information at a faster pace, reducing the time taken to take action. Save Me Now can be used by the whole family, whether at home, in your car, or on a hike. We watch over everyone wherever they are.
So next I'm going to show you a couple videos here on UAVs. These force multipliers can ferry equipment. They can do situational awareness. They can do reconnaissance and surveillance. The first video is from a fire company in California that's been using this since 2018. And then the second video, which I'll come back to, is about rad detection.
It's summer in California. That means fire and widespread devastation. Hundreds of square miles of it. Drones are the new weapon to help fight the flames. Instead of sending ground crews into dangerous conditions or using helicopters that can't fly in heavy smoke, drones are taking photos and sending live videos of fires and their aftermath. Menlo Park Fire in California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, is one of the nation's first fire departments to use drones. They're regularly called on to help fight California's long wildfire season. Drones also create detailed 360-degree aerial images to map burned out areas after the fires pass through.
With a drone, you can get darn near the same level of capabilities without putting a person in an aircraft, which is incredibly expensive. The drone's very low cost relative to what you get back.
Cameras on the drone give pilots a bird's eye view so crews can see things like the hottest part of the fire, whether or not a fire has crossed a containment line, or if people are in danger. Larger drones are also a key part of the arsenal. They can fly for up to 40 minutes, double the time of many smaller drones. As well as cameras, they can carry other items like an LED light to illuminate a scene at night.
Some of our drones can carry 10 pounds or more, so the ability to fly things like a life jacket, a radio, a space blanket, that could actually make a difference. Seconds matter.
But flying a drone and working out what's happening on screen isn't easy, especially if you're in a high-stress situation like a fire. With a free app called First Response from EdgyBees, details like road names, wind speed, and crew locations are overlaid on the drone image, so pilots don't have to cross-reference another map. And fire crews aren't the only ones flying drones to fight wildfires. Some utilities like San Diego Gas and Electric are inspecting the power grid from the sky with drones. These third-party drones have LiDAR on board, similar to the technology used in self-driving cars, and generate 3D maps of potential issues like damaged power poles and lines. In the future, drones may truly be the first responders.
By having a drone automatically launch, go line of sight to a call, send that information back, we can actually evaluate the scene and decide, do we need to escalate our response, de-escalate our response?
While over 180 US fire departments are beginning to use drones, widespread adoption is still up in the air.
They're still working out all the rules, the FAA, on how this all works. So we're happy that in this area, we're not being ignored.
Having another set of eyes in the sky is an invaluable tool to help win the battle against wildfires and to save lives.
So this next video that I'm going to show you is doing some rad detection work. It's a system that's developed to do that. Yeah. Here we go. So there you can see the very practical and useful applications of UASs for research, for rescue, and for data collection. So the next one I'm going to show you is a video on big data collection and how that impacts response efforts from an emergency management standpoint. Ohio State about 3 years ago developed a program where they went out and started collecting data from these types of items you see on the screen here, monitoring movements of populations, crowdsourcing, analysis of social media communications, and used it to develop a program that enhances emergency response efforts in large disasters. So I'm going to go ahead and roll that now.
I'm a geospatial engineer, and I'm collaborating with a number of interdisciplinary discovery teams. On one of our projects, I'm connecting with civil engineers and working together to improve rescue response times during a natural disaster. Every day, scientists and engineers are receiving terabytes worth of data from high-resolution satellite images. Over time, the accumulation of this data begins to give us a very strong understanding of the normal geographic and structural landscape of a specific region. Now, consider a scenario where a city has just experienced a large earthquake that's produced extensive damage over a wide area. Taking satellite imagery from before the earthquake occurred and connecting the two images captured after the disaster, we can tell if a building is leaning 10 degrees more than it was a day ago, indicating it might be in danger of collapsing. And we can more easily identify the most damaged area or areas where citizens are cut off from help. The algorithm we've developed to process this imagery provides actionable information in a few days, rather than the 3 to 6 weeks it might take using traditional damage assessment methods. Using this data, we are able to more quickly and accurately position first responders to rescue those in need. The time saved can equal saved lives.
So you can see how big data, even just big data, you wouldn't think, that maybe data collecting can help in emergency response, but it really does help effective emergency response efforts. And the last one I'm going to show you is robotics. This is my favorite area of technology. There is a great company out. I'm not endorsing them. I just love their videos. They're called Boston Dynamics. If you want to see some amazing, amazing robots, Boston Dynamics has some of the most nimble, agile robots that I have ever seen. I'm going to show you this one. It's used for search and rescue. It's used for information gathering. But they are used for medical tasks such as taking temperatures and blood pressure and transporting infectious samples. And many of those have been used during this pandemic. So let me just show you this video of this robotic little critter. So there are a number of robots in the emergency response arena that are just fantastic. There are some inflatable robots. There are humanoid robots that are doing all sorts of things. So I would say any of these technologies that you're interested in, just go out and search the net. And you will find more information than you need that you might be able to use to try and get these things for your emergency management program. And that's my presentation. I hope you have a great day. Give me some questions if you have them.
Thank you, Bernie, for your time and this informative presentation. I do want to remind you that we won't have time for a Q&A session, but if you have questions, just enter them in the chat box, and I'll make sure Bernie gets back and responds to those today. Also, please complete the survey. Just scroll down to the bottom of the screen. There's an icon. Click on that. Take the survey. Get credit for the attending this presentation. Also, if you're participating in our virtual scavenger hunt, now's the time to update your checklist. And tonight's social event is a best cocktail. This is a BYOB event, so please come join us 3 o'clock Mountain Time. Those have been a lot of fun. Thank you. We appreciate your attendance.